Sam Spence, Band of Brothers Martial Arts here in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm here to do another video back to Kali again. Something I haven't done quite a bit of just because it's a little bit more awkward on the bag than if I actually have a partner to work with. But one of the things that I've been trying to get across in classes for my students has been the importance of adding the thrust at the end of your slash or adding the slash at the end of your thrust, okay? Now, you're not going to do that every single time, especially if we're just drilling for whatever sort of coordination exercise we're doing or whatever the case might be. But combatively, sparring, I have found great success in adding those quick thrusts to my game. Now, as we're going to do this, I'm going to show you sort of a quick progression that I do on the bag, and it might help you. I hope it helps you because it has helped me, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Now, obviously, thrusting on a bag, or really thrusting anything, you have a risk of your grip slipping, right? So this takes time, this takes effort, this takes timing as to when to tighten up your grip. There's other also grips that you can even control with, such as like a fencing type grip as you thrust. Thank you, Guru Westfall, for that. But for right now, I'm going to stick to just a normal grip that we tend to use. So my stick is about a fist worth of puño, or the butt of the weapon here. And the way we're going to do this is you're going to start with your bag or your tree or your cousin, whatever you want to do. And you're going to take this, and all I want you to do is drive this thrust right alongside it. Okay? You're not trying to hit it. You're not trying to do anything fancy. It's just find this thrust. Okay? Once you have found your thrust, loop a big angle one out of it. Okay? And find the backhand thrust. You can see I'm going to work it all the way around. I'm still using the stick to slide right along the bag. And then you loop a big angle two. So slide the thrust, cut the one, slide the thrust, cut the two. One, here, two. Once you get used to the idea of your stick is going to slide past or miss or insert, however you want to think about it, and then you cut through immediately afterward. And right now, I'm showing it with a very long, drawn-out motion so you can see the mechanics behind it, right? So this thrust goes through, I retract, my elbow turns, and I cut through, right? What I want you to be able to do is to drive this thrust through and then cut, drive through and then cut. Now, it will not be as satisfying as a thunk, right? I'm not going here and then, ow, like this, right? The idea is I'm taking this and cut, here, cut, here, cut, here, cut. So from this position where it's inserted in, you slice through. From this position here, you slice through. Now, the way that I like to do this is I like to try and play the sort of main talking points, if you will. So I'll do the horizontal line. I'll do the diagonal up, diagonal down line. Sometimes I'll go the vertical line as well, but that tends to slide along the bag or along the tree or along your cousin, and it's not as fun. So what I like to try and do is you go high with the thrust and you'll cut the horizontal line. High with the thrust, cut the horizontal line. You'll go high with the thrust, cut the diagonal down line. High with the thrust, cut the diagonal down line. High with the thrust, diagonal up. High with the thrust, diagonal up. Like I said, if you want to go high with the thrust and go vertical down, high with the thrust, vertical up, you can, and that's on the forehand side. You can do the same here on the backhand side. You can do high with the thrust, vertical down, high with the thrust, vertical up. I had just found that I tend to not do that one as much in my training. Now, so once you do the high line, and high line I'm classifying as kind of like shoulder level up, okay? You can go to the low line. So I tend to just try and keep it about hip high for right now. So my hip high thrust to horizontal, hip high thrust, horizontal. Hip high thrust, diagonal up, hip high thrust, diagonal up, hip high thrust, diagonal down, hip high thrust, diagonal down. Remember on diagonal downs, you don't hinge at the hips, you drop at the waist or you drop at the knees, however you want to refer to that. From the hip thrust, vertical up, hip thrust, vertical down, hip thrust, vertical down, hip thrust, vertical up, okay? Now, you can obviously put this together in patterns, right? So one of the easier ones that I tend to do is high line here, diagonal down. Low line here, diagonal up. Low line here, diagonal up. High line here, diagonal down. Whoa, you just made your X, right? So you can find some of the same concepts that we use footwork wise in the thrust to slash, slash to thrust, thrust to slash kind of mechanics. So that's one aspect of this training. The next aspect of the training is when you start integrating it into the actual striking. So anyway, thank you very much, and I hope this helps. I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit more in another video, so that way I don't end up with this catalog of 30-minute long videos of me just rambling to myself in front of a bag. So thank you.